tell us who you are, what do you do in Ark Protocol?
Crypto Scoty. I've been with Ark Protocol for years, almost since the beginning. I've been with the team. We've known each other since the old Terra Luna days when Luna was on top of the world. We were there for the peak of Luna. We were also there for the crash of Luna. My background is mainly trading and NFTs, and I just love blockchain. I love utilities, which is what drew me to Terra Luna, is utilizing all the different cool utilities. And when Terra Luna crashed, we all scrambled. We had a community of people. We stayed in touch before the crash, and then during the crash and after. Some of the people in our community were devastated and left. And some of the people, especially the founders of Ark, we kind of rallied together and thought to ourselves, we need a technology to help protect the holders, the people, the community. We need something to help them so that if this happens again, all these projects aren't just stuck dying on the chain. So that's where Ark Protocol was born 2 days after the DPEG. And we just set out to build interchain utilities because, so many projects, they wanted to migrate, but they couldn't. And there's a ton of projects just died. They literally just died. They just disappeared. And so that's really what kind of made Ark Protocol exist. And yeah, I'm from the United States. I live in Las Vegas, and I have businesses here, IRL. Web3 is just my passion.
IRL, what is it?
Oh, IRL just means in real life. Outside of Web3, I have my work, my businesses, my life, my family. But Web3 is something I have a passion for, and that's what brings me to Web3. That's what makes me want to do stuff in Web3 and build and be part of the community.
Perfect. Do you play poker in Las Vegas?
No, I used to play a little bit, but no, I don't gamble.
Okay. As for me, I used to play professionally in poker, and maybe 6 years ago, I have a dream to visit Las Vegas and play in poker, but now I don't play because I'm tired of this shit. it's too stressed.
That's funny. My neighbor, he's a famous poker player. Before he was famous, he was my friend and my neighbor. But when he became famous, I don't talk to him anymore. Things change when you have that much money and fame. But it's Antonio Esfandiari, the magician.
I know him.
So Antonio was my next door neighbor when he was a waiter. And he would tell us all the time, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be rich. And then he was.
Wow.
So kind of a cool story, I guess.
How many people work right now in Ark Protocol? And this is the first question. And the second question, you said you started with your teams, Ark Protocol, after the PEG. Did you lose money? And do you have money for launching, for developing? And if not, did you attract money from, Autumn Accelerator? Tell me more about money a little bit, about how you work with money, how many people work in your company. I need more information to understand how you guys generate money, and if this project will not succeed, I should understand you will still alive after that or not.
So first of all, any monies we lost in the DPEG was personal funds. Ark Protocol did not exist until right after the DPEG. Yeah, I lost a fortune. As a matter of fact, I lost life-changing money. In the DPEG, I had a portfolio that was very beautiful, but I stood no chance of making money because I believed in UST. So if I thought Luna was going to go down, I would buy UST. So if I thought that it was going to crash, I would have put all my money in UST, which when UST DPEG'd, it went down to nothing. So I would have lost all my money. So I know that our founder, Mr. T, lost a bunch of money as well in the DPEG. We all suffered. And, we're in crypto because we also want to make money in addition to everything else we do. That's why most people are here. It's a financial, we're all in the finance sector right now. So basically, we lost money there. And when we decided to build Ark, Ark is a passion project. So we didn't ask for money from anybody when we started. But after a while, once some of these technologies were ready, we realized we needed money because you can't audit a contract without money. You can't build infrastructure and maintain the relayers without money. So eventually we sought funding through partnerships, through grants, and it was a very difficult road to travel because it's not easy to get money from the blockchains. It's not easy to get money from grants and from different partnerships. We basically did most of the building on our own. And then eventually we got help. We got help from Stargaze in the beginning. Stargaze helped us because they used some of the tech that we built. So they helped us by funding some of the audits that we had done on the contract, which was a big help. We also worked very closely to help build some of their infrastructure. Our founder, Mr. T, definitely worked on some of their infrastructure for them directly, not as Ark, but just as himself. He worked for them just to help back in the day when we were first launching our technology. He helped implement it there, and we offered to do more with them. We've worked with them behind the scenes ever since. Now, with that said, we did come across the AEZ grants, which is the Dora Hacks builder grants. I want to say if it wasn't for those builder grants, we would have had a lot of trouble building some of the stuff we had to build because, you only have so many people on the team that are willing to do work and not get paid. The core team does not work for money. We don't have a paycheck. So basically, you either love what you do and you want to build it, or
if you can conclude, the pack was 3 years ago, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you have been working 3 years, self-funded. Is it true?
Mostly self-funded, but like I said, here in the last year, we've been able to get grants from AEZ, and we did get a grant from AA DAO. And so we did work with them to get some funds, and those funds were used to help facilitate some of the work that we've done and help pay third-party services and help keep the relayers going.
Can I ask how much money you got from these two companies, from Atom Accelerator and another one?
I don't remember the exact numbers from Atom. I want to say it's like 40K. And then from the Dora Hack, it feels like it was a lot when they said how much we were getting, but it didn't feel like a lot once we started spending it on building the project. But yeah, it wasn't bad. And the Dora Hacks, each round we got some Atom. But again, like I said, I mean, it's easy to spend between the partnerships that we had to have the bots and the indexer, between now the artwork and the building of the passport technologies. We basically spend all the money. It's crazy how fast the money goes towards all this stuff.
Scoty, I would like to be honest with you. Sometimes I'm asking tough questions. It's normal here, okay?
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I don't have any problem answering the tough questions. If I have good information to give, I will. If I need to go find out and get back to you, I will.
Let's continue. I would like to know more about your new collection, which called, I don't know the name. I need more info. Okay. So when mint, I need to know the supply, how you created everything we should know, because a lot of people here have a passport. They can mint it for free. I have big community, NFT community here, and they may be thinking to mint. So we need more info about new collection. Tell us.
Yeah, so if you have a passport with a Pioneer trait, you get a free mint guaranteed. The supply is 9,721, so it's like a 10K. But the reason it's 9,721 is the contract is called the CW 721. So the number 721 resonates with Ark Protocol's vision and Ark Protocol's mission. So 9,721 NFTs. Like I said, if you hold a passport with the Pioneer trait, you get a free mint. If you hold a passport without the Pioneer trait, you're going to get a massive discount on mint. If you're holding an EAP, which is our whitelist early access pass, you're going to get a benefit as well. So anybody who was with us from EAP to the passport and now is looking at the Hubbits collection, you're definitely going to get benefit in the mint. So we have that for you guys. Now the Hubbits collection is a hand-drawn, pixelated collection based on the zodiac signs. So there's 12 zodiacs. And then there's 4 specialty zodiacs that we have in the collection, because not every country has the same animals for zodiacs. So there's 4 specialty zodiacs, but it's all based on elements. It's all based on the signs and the zodiacs. Mr. T loves this concept of zodiacs, which is why we went with it. And we have some lore built on it. So, each different zodiac has a different planet in the cosmos where they're from. The storyline is really cool. Raisin, one of our team members, took a lot of time to help write some of the lore, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely feel free to check that out. I think it's in our pinned tweet on Twitter, some of the lore, and we have some in our server. But the collection is a PFP collection. It's going to represent the hub. It's going to be the first ever PFP collection minted on the hub. And it's going to be basically like the flagship collection for Cosmos. And then basically from there, the goal is to simply keep delivering utility, keep bringing more and more utility to the Cosmos. I know a lot of things are happening in the Cosmos right now. So the Cosmos has a lot of attention. The Cosmos will be growing. I'm extremely bullish on Cosmos because of what's coming, because of what the hub is actually agreeing to do with everybody from across the Cosmos. So we're right in there in the middle of it all. And our interchain tech is going to be used for any kind of movements across the Cosmos. But we're going to be stationed on the hub.
Let's make pause here, okay? Because we will continue to talk about utility a little bit later. For me, it's like impossible to create 9,700 unique NFT. How many artists in your team? Is it really true that each NFT hand-drawn without using any scripts, any IE, cool shit? Tell me more about how you created and how many people work on collection. I'm talking now only about artists.
Yeah, 3 artists working nonstop for now over 6 months. So we have Crypto Matcha and his wife as an artist team. And we also have Stephist, who is an amazing artist. I don't know if he's very recognized in the space or not, but he's an amazing artist as well. So it started with the base layers for each animal and the different types of skins for these animals. And then from there, it went to traits. And we have been working on them so much. We're driving our artist absolutely crazy. He's working so hard to make it all work because all these different animals, he's had to modify and make them all fit. And then the traits didn't fit every animal properly. So we had to actually build a NFT script so that when it generates the NFTs, depending on the animal base layer, it will place the traits slightly different, a different placement on the NFT. So if it's like a head item, a hat, a crown, anything that goes on the head, if it's a goat, he has horns, then it doesn't fit the same as like if it's a snake and it fits right on his head, or if it's a dog, it has ears, So we had to write a script and develop a bot that will generate all these NFTs and allow us to set where every trait goes for each skin. So it got very, very complex. So not only, because Matcha also does development, so not only did he do artwork, not only did he create all these base layers by hand using this pixel art, but this guy had to also find a way to make a bot that will generate the entire collection based on rarities, weighting, and placement of traits. And he had to map some traits don't fit certain NFTs, so you have to map that those traits should never come up with that base. So it got very involved, and we've been just working on it tirelessly. And you're an artist, so you understand. Sometimes if something doesn't fit right, you can't just generate your collection. You have to make it work. And to make it work is just takes time.
Tell me more about utility of this collection.
The utilities are always being upgraded. The utilities, a lot of the utilities are live. The base utility of Ark Protocol is interchain transfers, interchain utilities. So the very first thing is being able to move your NFTs across different chains and have the markets recognize your collection and have it be the same NFT. The technical side of moving an NFT is actually complex. We don't see it because we push a button and it goes there. But what's happening on the back end can be very complex. The biggest problem with blockchain is that if you send an NFT and you don't send it across a whitelisted relayer, you send it across another relayer that's not whitelisted for that collection. When your NFT goes to the next chain, it mints an NFT that looks like it, but it's not the same collection address. It's not the same NFT anymore. Okay, so there's technical things. So what Ark Protocol has built is we've built the infrastructure to allow you to move NFTs. And then Mr. T, our founder, who's our main developer, also realized that the CW NFT contract that was being used had some things that could be upgraded. So it's a good contract, but there were some things that weren't available in this contract. And one of the biggest things was on-chain data. So if you have a collection, you keep all your images and your metadata off-chain. You store it usually in something called IPFS, which basically is like an online storage. And then the smart contracts look at the storage online to draw the images and the metadata to the market. And this was a problem because the different chains weren't seeing the data. So sometimes you move an NFT to another chain, you go to the market and you're like, why don't I see the picture? Why don't I see the correct metadata? So Mr. T wrote the newest contract, and this new contract gives a few benefits, including on-chain metadata, making sending your NFTs seamless. So if you send your NFTs to another market, that market sees the data right there on-chain. It doesn't have to go off-chain to go find the data. Now, we can still store data off-chain and on-chain if anybody wants, if a collection needs it. If a certain market is not reading the on-chain data at the time, then obviously off-chain data is the way for them. Then any collection could have on-chain and off-chain data. The best part of this utility is this added creator role. We added a role called the creator role. Now, without this creator role, if you have your collection in the market and you want to update, like even with your collection, DeFi Geeks, if you want to update the description of your collection, the royalties, and the metadata of any NFT, maybe you can't even update some of it. And some of it, you have to talk to the market. You have to go to the market and say, hey, please update my description. I want it to say this now. And they have to go in and do it for you. But with on-chain data storage and the creator role, it gives you the right to go in and change any of that data anytime. So you change the description and the market is looking at on-chain data for the description in your listing, then it will get whatever's there. So if you change it, then it will change in the market seamlessly. And if you go to another market, it will read that data seamlessly. If you change your royalties, it will know at every market and it will respect your royalties everywhere you go. And what this does is this opens the door to a utility that has not been seen before. This gives the creator role the opportunity to create what we call handling pages. So this is where the passport becomes a very interactive NFT. And we're going to after we do the mint and we launch this specific contract gets uploaded and we launch these utilities, as a collection, you can create these handling pages where you can add pages, remove pages, okay? You can define the page owners. You can set visibility on the page. So if once a page is given the information and maybe dates have passed and you're like, okay, this isn't important, you can hide it. You don't even have to delete it. It can stay in your history, but users won't see it anymore. Okay, you can also add contributors. So if you have community members, you want them to contribute to a certain page, information and stuff, you will be allowed to assign contributor roles to people that will have access to these pages. And what this will do for you guys and for any project is it will be able to unlock like more post-mint features. It will let communities build like dynamic communities because it gives the community a way to really interact with everyone who is looking at their passport, who's looking for information. And then, the CW721 can keep expanding. And the CW721, again, is just the NFT contract that everyone's using when they launch a collection. These are our main utilities that we're working on, making that passport much more interactive and giving more control to the founders.
As for me, the tech is absolutely incredible and amazing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
If you're talking about the hub, the story about hub, my experience is not good. I think the UX was really ugly. And it's not only my opinion. This is opinion a lot of people who minted passports. They always ask, what is going on? Why is so ugly? We don't understand what is going on here. We don't understand the steps. The first step, EAP, then passport, super passport, etc., etc. So I tell you one thing, that because I have a lot of interviews here, and my idea to tell you that when the product, because you have a lot amazing product, is really difficult to understand. Your main work is to make it simple for people who use it. Do you realize it?
Of course. Understand that Ark Protocol is being built by developers. Okay, so their focus is to make the technology work. Now, we are always talking to community members behind the scenes. We have a lot of community members who open tickets when they're confused, and we ask them, what do you want to see changed? What do you want to see updated? And behind the scenes, we're actually doing a lot of updates, but they haven't actually brought them out to the public yet. So we understand that the UI is not looking as good as it could. We understand that the UX is not looking as good as it could, right? This makes sense to us, but the technology, the functionality of the interchain utilities has been the main focus. I see this all the time with a lot of companies. I see it all the time with a lot of new programs. It doesn't look the best. Sometimes certain things don't work the best, but as long as people are trying to update their UI and UX, then, that's the best they can do. I'll give you an example. I just signed up for a service for my work outside of Web3. And right away, I started having a lot of problems with it. So I reached out to the company and I said, hey, I'm having a lot of problems. Is this the best you can do? And they added me to a beta group because they recognize the need. They recognize that if people who use it come and share their concerns, same way you're doing right now, that's the only way we're going to know what to update and what the people are looking for.
How we can look at the hub? This is like new competitor of Stargaze. How we can look at it?
Well, we're not competing with Stargaze. Stargaze is a market. Stargaze is a token that has done nothing but fail. We're in a bull run, and they've been down only. Since the beginning of this bull run, that coin has gone down only. There's not one Stargaze holder in all of Web3 that is up. Everyone's in a loss. 100% of holders are at a loss.
Stargaze has a good product, but bad token. If you're talking about hub, I think you have a good product. Are you planning to start new token? How you will be work with Stargaze? You will be the competitors.
Yeah. So like I was saying, we're not competing with them. They're a market. We're a launch pad, right? So if Stargaze brings their market to the hub, which is exactly what it looks like is going to happen, that's good for Atom because that gives an immediate market that everyone's familiar with. This is a market that everybody that's using it, if it moves to the hub, it's good for all the users. Okay. Now, I do still worry. I always have this worry in the back of my mind because in the last 2.5 years, I've been in very private calls with Shane at Stargaze and his right-hand man, Michael, whose handle is human algorithm. These guys who run Stargaze, I know all about their struggles. I know all about what they're going through. So seeing them wanting to move to the hub makes perfect sense to me. Stargaze died. It failed. The product is good, but the chain is dead. There's no way to bring it back. When the chain is down 99%, you need to go 1,000 times to break even. Okay? Nobody down 99% goes 1,000 times. So the idea that Shane is going to move to the hub, of course, he will never make money otherwise. Stargaze never made him money, right? They were just basically built a good product, but the chain failed. So we like the idea that something of value can be brought to Atom. But again, in the back of my mind, the biggest concern I have is if it's a failed model, what are they going to do different this time than before to ensure that they don't just do the same thing to everybody that they did on Stargaze? When we were getting funding from AA Stargaze was unhappy. They came out and said a lot of things, and we didn't engage. We don't want to go and be in a fight with them. So we talked to them behind the scenes. But the truth is that Stargaze really wanted to do better than they were doing. And if you look, right around that time, Stargaze started pushing out a lot of projects. Stargaze started really dropping project after project after project, launch after launch. But every 2 weeks was a new launch, and the previous launch would just kind of die. Most of them just died, right? And so basically, because NFTs are difficult right now. So I'm hoping that they have a plan for how they're going to succeed, because everything they did previous is an epic failure other than the UI. which the market itself is a good product, like we said. There's nothing wrong with the market, but their business model has to change if they want to succeed. Otherwise, all they're going to do is they're going to come into Atom and just strip liquidity and take value out of Atom instead of bringing value to Atom. Okay? I don't think that Stargaze is going to give the project to the community now that there's potential for money, which is something that was mentioned. I would have loved to see that. Go decentralized, give it to the community, and let it be a nice public good. But at the end of the day, right now, it's 100% centralized and privately owned. You know, obviously there's governance and stuff on chain, but the market itself is 100% controlled by one person. So what I would like to see from them is a plan other than we're going to take over the hub as the NFT marketplace and just do the same thing we did on Stargaze, which failed. So that's my concern. I'm hoping that Stargaze will really work hard to do that. That's my main concern, because I don't know exactly what their plan is. But
Scoty, I like your answer. I appreciate your honest. I really like your answer, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we need to work together in crypto if we want to grow. We need to be pumping each other up. There's no reason to tear each other down unless you know the project is malicious or a bad project. But if you have a project like Ark building, DeFi Geeks is building, you know, Expedition is building, you got all these great communities that clearly we're here to work hard. We're here to stay. We need to help each other, not tear each other down. I would like to see Stargaze succeed.
Yeah, Scoty, one interesting moment. I like Invisible Man for Stargaze, actually. If I didn't get feature collection, I'm nobody for them. I told many times, could you add my collection maybe one time per week, just for fun, just in marketing? Because everybody talking about strong community. I have built in my community since 22. I would like to tell you my story. Yeah, so I have built in my community since 22, and I have a really strong Keys community. Yeah, so I have YouTube channel. I have a lot of interview. I took 6 interviews with Celestia, just in case. A lot of people came to me maybe 3 days or 4 days ago. I talked about Polkadot. And a lot of people, when we talk about NFT, they talk that community is the first. NFT is about community. I represent one of the most strongest Keys community. I talk a lot of times with them. Just add me on main page, maybe one time per week or per month. Don't care. Because, I didn't get feature collection. It's look like if you didn't get it, they don't interest in you anymore. And it's a problem for them, for me and for them, because they said, we need volume, because I have value. Yeah, volume. Top 5 collection. You can open Stargaze, you will see a lot of collection. They have good volume. It's okay. You can see it. But if you don't have it, so I'm sorry. And interesting thing, if you open YouTube, sometimes you can see different channels, 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers. It's okay, because YouTube always testing new channel, new ideas, new content. And I'm trying to explain it to Stargaze, they don't hear me. And I think the main problem that they don't care about community, small community with not like huge volume. I just told many times, come to us, take a look what is going on. You will see we are really strong. And I really appreciated, Scoty, what you came to us, because for other collection, for other people in Cosmos, I like Invisible Man. So thank you.
It's a tough one, I understand exactly what you're saying. They're not giving you the attention that you just want a little bit of attention, a little bit of recognition for what you're building. And you go and you look, and like if you look right now at Stargaze Zone and you look at their analytics for the last month, right? You will see that, for example, Bad Kids, the most pumped project, and I really don't know what their utility or benefits are to the community, but the most pumped project has 12,000, almost 13,000 sales in the last month. Most of the collections don't have that kind of volume. Also, the total value of those transactions is very high. It's $17 million in volume. Okay. So if you look at that, $17 million is going across a for-profit market and they're not making any money. My first question is why? Right? Why isn't the market making money? Also, why is Bad Kids the flagship? I always wonder that.
I have the same question because, I have a lot of utility in my community, and I will send you the link. Just take a look.
Yeah, Bad Kids for me is like, it's the flagship, okay? Now, what I know for fact is that when we asked for some Bad Kids from Stargaze, they just threw us a few. Like it was nothing. When Bad Kids was at like thousands of dollars per NFT, right? They just gave us some. And I was just like, they could just hand them to us? That's interesting. I never imagined that anywhere in the world you could just say, hey, can I have one? And then they just give you them, right? Oh, can we have a couple more? Sure, here you go. So what I truly believe, okay, and this is speculation. This is not, I don't know for fact, but I always say follow the money. These huge numbers tell me that even if the company Stargaze isn't making money, somebody is. Who's making money? The holders, do they all live in nice places? Because I bet you the founders do. I always say follow the money. Now with Ark, we don't make money. If you actually look at our platform and look at the transfer fees, you'll see we make no money. We don't charge you guys because it's a public good, right? So I always worry when I follow the money and I think to myself, what makes this project so successful? And I'm like, money follows money. That's all. I don't think they have the most to offer.
Understood. How are you going to generate money? I'm talking about Hub.
Well, with our project, we don't need to generate a ton of money. Okay, we need to generate enough money to build out utilities. And the more utilities we have, the easier it will be to allow for micro fees that build up over time, to pay for the infrastructure, to pay for anything that we're doing. Okay, for us to make money, we have to first build and bring value because we're not asking for the community to pay for what we're building. We built it first. Then we're saying, okay, look, we've proven we can build this. We've proven that it exists. Yes, we know the UI sucks, but the UI for Amazon sucked in the 2000s, and for Facebook in 2004 was the worst UI, and Reddit had the worst UI before 2015, and Craigslist UI still sucks, and eBay's UI was crap before 2000. Airbnb in the beginning was garbage. Zoom was garbage. TikTok was garbage. Robinhood was garbage. And even Discord between 2015 and 2018 sucked. And here we are using every last one of them, and they're huge. The UI we know matters, but not before the tech, not before the ability to use the platform. So we're going to bring value first, and we hope that over time, this value could equal kind of some of what you're seeing in the markets where projects have a high volume. And, a couple percent royalties on this volume is absolutely crazy. Okay, if you get in 1 month $100,000 in volume and you collect a few percent of that, you make enough for your project to survive every month. But how do you get that money? First, you bring value. Then you get a little bit out of it. But we will never pump and then dump. We will never do anything that seems not above board to make money. So yeah, we struggle. Yes, it's not easy to compete with big names that have big stuff behind them, but they're all paying each other. They're all feeding each other information. They're all quietly trading for profits with insider information. There's no way they're not doing that stuff, because you see collections that they pump for 2 weeks, die right after, and they move on to the next one, and they pump the shit out of it, and it dies, and they move to the next one. It's not rocket science to see. Just follow the money. You follow the money to Ark, and you'll see that Ark doesn't really have much, but Ark keeps building anyway.
How much money you should have for your team right now, Scoty? I still don't know your role in the Ark Protocol. How many people works right now in Ark Protocol? How many of them?
The base team is 5. That's the base team. Then we have a couple outlying people.
Only techs people, yeah? And techs and marketing, yeah?
Okay, tech is 3.
Uh-huh.
3 people. That's the tech. I'm not a tech person. I don't do tech, okay? I am just the representative. I'm one of the founders. I basically am the one guy who needs to understand how Ark works and then come to the public and be able to explain it where we understand it if we're not techie. So sometimes I have to sit with our developers for an hour or 2 hours just to understand something, just so that when I come to talk to you guys, I can tell you guys, without giving you boring details, this is how you can benefit. If Mr. T was here and he talked about the creator role in the contract, man, he would have said so many technical things that nobody who's not a developer, well, you won't understand, you won't even care. But what do you benefit from it? Well, you benefit from a more dynamic community and an easier way to deliver information outside of Discord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my role. We have Crypto Raisin. He's actually here in the crowd, Raisin23. This guy is our community manager. Okay. He basically holds down the community, all the games, all the interactions. He's the one that helps collab with other projects and stays in touch outside of Ark. And then he's the one that tells me, okay, we got an AMA with DeFi Geeks on this day at this time. Okay, just be there. And then my job is to come in here and talk to you guys and tell you everything and share everything I can about our project.
Perfect. So let's talk about collection. When mint, how much does it cost? First stage, free mint for passport. Second stage, how much, etc., etc. All we should know.
The very first phase is obviously going to be the free mint phase for the Pioneer holders. There's about 1,400 Pioneer holders, and they all will get 1 for 1. For every Pioneer trait passport that you hold, you get one free Hubbits, guaranteed. So that's going to be phase 1. Okay, we're going to have a second phase that's going to be a discounted phase for holders of passports that are not Pioneer, and potentially have another phase for the EAP holders, people who bought the early access pass and they're very eager to get a benefit. We're going to give you guys a benefit as well. And then we're going to do something that we actually haven't seen before. We're going to gamify a collector's phase of mint. Our plan is to have some form of an added field in the mint screen where you can select what community you're coming from that you support the most. So if it's DeFi Geeks, everyone from DeFi Geeks that mints votes DeFi Geek, and we're going to take a block of NFTs. I don't know exactly how many, 1%, 2%, 3%, up to 10%. I don't know the exact number. We're going to take those NFTs, and whoever gets the most votes will get the most of those NFTs to their project treasury to bring value to their treasury. So we want to gamify the mint, and we're going to open up that phase to anyone who holds NFTs from different collections. So you could potentially vote for different communities, or you can stick to the one you want to support the most. And then we're going to be able to tally up how many votes each one got. And then the ones who got the most votes will get the most benefit of those NFTs sent to their treasury. That's just going to be a gamified idea that's going to help promote the mint. And final phase, of course, is public. Public phase, max is going to be $10, max. That means everything before public phase will be less than $10. We are not trying to profit a mint for huge amounts of money. Okay, we're not trying to fill up our treasury with money from this mint. We're trying to make history. We're trying to bring a collection for the very first time that's good art from a good project with really cool traits, really cool structure for the artwork and for the collection. And we want to bring it to everyone at a price that we can all afford. So it's not $100 mint. It's not a stream swap where you have to buy certain tokens. We're not doing any of that stuff. We are going to just be a straightforward mint on Cosmos, every phase on Cosmos, all the way up until public phase on 7 chains. So you'll be able to mint on other chains only in public. The rest, we're a hub project.
What gas I should use for mint if I have passport?
The gas for the transactions is going to be Atom. Yeah, but if you mint public and you mint on another chain, you will have to have gas in that token. So if you decide to mint on Neutron, you're going to have a little bit of Neutron for the transaction on Neutron as well. And then the Denom, the coin that you're going to use to mint, we haven't decided 100%, but we might have you have Atom on that chain or USDC on that chain. So you might have to just send some Atom to Neutron and have a tiny amount of Neutron for transaction fee to mint the NFT there.
Understood. When mint?
Mint is this month. We're expecting to announce the exact date towards the end of this month, but it's going to be this month. Right now we're actually doing testing of the Launchpad for all these different features because the Launchpad is going to look a little bit better. The UI is going to be a little bit nicer, and we're hoping to deliver a better UX. We want you guys to have a better experience than the last one to show you that we are improving, we are building. We just do it quietly. We're the invisible builders. Like you are the visible, we're the invisible builders.
Then my next question, do you track what is going on with Intergaze? I'm asking you about NFT which launched on Intergaze. Do you see the problem?
Who launched on Intergaze?
A new project, Tuzi, Raccoons, they launched on Initia. Most of them failed. I think all of them failed because the mint was, for example, Anio, yeah? They have public mint still going for 55 Initia, and now the floor price is 20 Initia approximately.
Oh, they opened up secondary market before mint closed?
Of course, yeah. It's so strange.
Yeah, that's not good for any project. I never recommend that to any project. If you open up secondary, you run the risk of people being scared. If minting slows down, holders get scared, they will just dump at market and then your mint stops because it's cheaper at market. So I will tell you this. I look at the NFTs on a lot of chains, and I will say this. Meme coins destroyed NFTs, okay? The meme coin market really took all the attention from NFTs, and for the last year, or maybe a little bit less than a year, that's all I hear from people. Oh, when meme coins dying down, NFTs are back. But if you go into all the NFT communities that have been around for more than a month, okay, because a hyped project can stay hyped for up to a month, let's say. You go to any NFT project that's around for more than a month, you will see Discords are inactive. Markets are inactive. You only have a few collections that really stay on top. Now, I'm not going to point any fingers, but when I do research, a lot of collections are just wash trading. They're just buying and selling their own NFTs from many wallets. And the biggest place that does that is Solana, because they actually built protocols that will create wallets, move monies, and buy and sell with new wallets. And they can do thousands of wallets a day with tens of thousands of transactions a day, all for a fee. So they pay a fee, and it creates what looks like amazing, a lot of owners, a lot of transactions. Okay, I don't know what projects are doing this, but I promise you that whenever I do research, I find a lot of fishy stuff. Okay, it's sad but true. Projects who want to stay relevant have to struggle. NFTs are not what they were before the meme coins went crazy. Now, Atom doesn't really have that happening right now. We don't have any kind of a big meme coin market. Also, Atom is a much more solid, and I'm going to say this, Atom is a much more honest chain than, say, Solana. Solana is very dangerous. Solana is absolutely out of control, okay? A lot of insider stuff, a lot of meme coin pumps and dumps, nonstop. It's crazy, right? But on Atom, we don't have that. But what we do have on Atom that Ark Protocol is bringing and growing is Asteroid Protocol. Asteroid is inscription-based NFTs. And what we're doing is we're going to expand it from Atom to be an interchain inscriptions. So that's going to give people the ability to launch other style tech collections. And we're going to basically incorporate that into all of our interchain utilities. So NFTs are tough. NFT markets are tough because really that's what it comes down to. We said this early, your community. It's all about your community.
Tell me more about your marketing strategy, because, for example, right now you came to me, to the guy who make news about Cosmos ecosystem, not only about Cosmos, for Russian-speaking community. So this is my niche, and you came to this niche, but we have most of my users there in Cosmos. So if we can see fail collections which launched on Intergaze, most of users they came from Cosmos. And for mint your new collection on Hub, you need to bring more fresh blood. How are you going to do it?
Whenever we talk about marketing, okay, one thing we want to avoid is to pump it too big. Okay, a lot of these new chains that, like you mentioned, they're having failed mints, and I've seen this with a lot of chains even before meme coins were big, when NFTs were big, and people would say, oh, would you try out this new chain? And really, when you go over to a new chain, a lot of times people are going over there to extract value. It's a new collection. It's the first collection. If I buy it, I can sell it for more money. But what do? A lot of times they take that money and they move it out of that chain. So they're just extracting value. So Ark, when we sit down and we talk about marketing, we think to ourselves, do we want to pay KOLs to pump us? Do we want to have endless posts from people with a lot of influence and then have to give them a whole bunch of money in NFTs to make them do this just to pump up our project? Or do we want to just build, demonstrate, and do our best to reach out organically to the community? At Ark, we decided to do it organic. Collaborations, partnerships, okay, Twitter, Discord. Try to get the people to see what we're building. Try to get them to engage with us and try to keep people interested and interact and tell us what they want to see us bring as well. And we do have some community members that have pretty sharp minds, and they've come to us in tickets and in the server and told us, hey, it would be cool to see this, would be cool to see this. And we talk about these things sometimes in the meeting and we're like, this is a great idea. Man, this guy really was thinking, because we're looking at the community from one side, but the community is looking at us from the other side, and we need to know what they're thinking. So at Ark, we're not trying to do big promotions to pump up our project and give some kind of a false hope or risk our project being big for a short amount of time. We'd rather grow organically. We'd rather grow from people like you, come and talk to communities like this, and basically just make sure that the people see a value in what we're doing and make sure that people see that we're not going to quit. We're just here. We're not going nowhere. That's our strategy. Is it the best? I guess not. Is it shiny and blingy and attractive? Not as much as some of these other things, but you notice not all of them, but you notice a lot of them, they just die because it was just pump and then dead. Somebody took money from there, but who knows who.
Okay, let's talk about plan B. For example, you launched this collection, 3,000 minted and stopped. What is going on after that?
So if we don't have a big showing at mint, there's a lot of options. So if you get 50% or less minted, one of the easiest and smartest options is to simply double everyone's bags. This gives everybody the opportunity to get more NFTs. This gives everybody the opportunity to potentially sell some of them, and that brings us new holders. Okay. And this gives people the sense that, we're supporting them because they supported us. The other option would be to burn the rest of the collection or hold back a portion of the collection for future mints on new chains. So if we have a new chain come to us and say, guys, make us interchain, and we could tell them, okay, what do you guys want to do? They're like, make your launch pad launch on our chain and run a launch. We'd tell them, okay, you want us to run some hubbits over there? And we could take some of our collection that didn't mint and we can go and mint over there to help bring attention and to help us get more holders from outside of our current community. So these are all options we've discussed. I always lean towards benefiting those that are already there, but the idea that we can hold back whatever didn't mint for future use, if it's marketing giveaways and other launches, is another option. We can also do trade-ins. We can also do metadata changes based on what didn't get minted and so on. There's a million ways to treat it, but at the end of the day, we're going to look at what benefits the community. That's why our price is going to be low. That's why our marketing is going to be organic, because we don't want people to just come in thinking, oh, I'm going to make money and I'm going to leave. We want people to come in and say, okay, they're going to build value. I can profit from this, but I'm going to support them because I believe that they're not just going to raise the price of the floor and everybody's going to sell and leave. We want people to look at us and say, oh yeah, I can buy this NFT and in 6 months, Ark is still going to be there. I bought NFTs where weeks later, you can't even The server's dead. You can't. Nobody's talking. The NFT value is gone, and the project has nothing to offer anymore. But we're a utility. We're going to be here, and we want people to see that. And if they want to support us, we want them to know that they're not supporting something that's going to disappear. They're supporting something that's literally building utilities that people are using. I mean, our utility is being used every day. There's transactions all the time. People moving from chain to chain. Mad Scientist is our biggest user of this utility. And with the new contract, we're going to be able to incentivize people moving around chains because the metadata can be updated. So with the new CW contract that we're launching, you'll be able to tell your users like, hey, we just got a chain wants us to move our NFTs back and forth to their chain to create some activity, and they're going to incentivize it. So we're going to gamify it, and we need to use Ark's interchain tech to move everything. And then Ark isn't really charging you for this. We don't have any kind of built-in fees to collect monies from you. You're just getting to move your NFTs. And if you've made a collaboration to incentivize that, it can be updated in the NFTs as the users are doing it, making it easy for the project founders to track it. You don't have to do anything. It's automatic. Just set it up and it does the work itself. When you see that these things can be done, you see that we're bringing something that's not going away.
Scoty, how are you going to bring creators in the hub? Because you said it's Launchpad and you need to bring creators to show them the value and show them the power of hub, or you don't need creators. I still trying to understand how you bring new people to the hub.
So look at it this way. Like you said, if you have a platform that gives you an easy way to create, right? What are they doing for you? If they're making the art for you, then you're just doing a collection that's generated for you. You're not spending a lot of time on the art. Then you can go anywhere. But for all the projects that care about the artwork, that care about their collection, they're going to design it outside of a platform. You're going to make your own art. Then you're going to need to take that art to a platform to launch, okay? Ark is going to offer that launch as a service. So Ark Protocol will let collections launch. So really, the NFT market needs demand for people to use our platform because there's always going to be people that want to use, there's always going to be people who look, where can I launch? I can launch on Stargaze Zone. I can launch on Ark Protocol. I can launch on a couple other platforms. There's always going to be people that say, I want to here or I want there. We're going to be there for whoever wants to launch with us. But yeah, there's always going to be collections that work very hard to put together their intellectual property, their methods, their white papers, and they're going to need somewhere to launch this collection. And Ark, we're a small project. We're very personable. You come to us, we're going to set you up. We're easy to reach, and we're going to work for you. Bigger platforms, they may simplify the user interface, but if you have a problem, do they give support? I don't know, but for sure with us, you will. It's like any product. It's like any service. There's always going to be people looking for the service, and there's always going to be people that find you if you're providing it. So I think that after demonstrating some of these launches and how the platform works, as we're improving it even further, of course, people are going to come and want to use it. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. Also, I think that there's also a chance that we'll see, other markets potentially. I've watched Magic Eden go to 1,000 different chains. I wouldn't be surprised if Magic Eden came to the Cosmos. I don't know if they're planning to or not, but they just keep adding chains nonstop. So I would be very surprised if they didn't add eventually this one, which would be good because competition is good.
Yeah, still trying to understand what is the main value of this collection, and could we say that is Genesis collection?
This is the Genesis PFP collection. So basically, this is the very first collection that is for collectors. The passport is the same thing for everybody. You have the same picture, okay? It's for a utility. It's not for flexing your traits. It's not for flexing your rarities.
The passports still have a power. I mean, in the future means, etc.
Yes, the passport, and there's only 2,000 passports that are going to have benefit. That's it, okay? Because these are the first 2,000 passports that were minted, and the only 2,000 that were minted. About 1,500 of them were Pioneer, and about 500 Genesis passports. They all look the same, okay? It's a utility NFT, all right? Everybody who has one of these are the only ones that are going to get benefit We're going to give free passports real soon. We're going to open up mints for free passport after the Hubbits. Everyone can get a free passport, but that free passport has utility, but no benefits. Okay. Again, we're a public good. We're not going to hold the utility hostage. We're going to give everyone access to this utility. In fact, to use Ark Protocol, you might have to have a passport, but to mint it will be free. Okay. So what is Hubbits? Hubbits is the very first PFP collection where you can flex your PFP, you can flex your rarity, you can really stand behind and identify with the zodiac symbol of your NFT. This is the very first collection for collectors on the hub.
Understood.
You know, if you own 2 passports, you own 2 of the same thing. If you own 2 Hubbits, you own 2 different NFTs. You only need 1 passport. You don't need more than 1. A lot of us have more than 1. Hoping with value and benefits that would become valuable, of course, right? Everybody's doing this stacking of things that they believe will hold value over time. But having more than 1 Hubbits makes sense because it's a different PFP. It's a different image. It's different traits, different rarities. That's the fun of NFTs for a lot of us. We love chasing certain traits. People create sub-communities based on traits. You know, people could create sub-communities based on which zodiac sign they have. Sometimes these sub-communities actually build a good network and actually get benefits only to the holders of that trait or that zodiac sign. So that's what this collection is. This is a real collection for collecting art, for being part of a community that has traits and rarities and different images. And so you can say that, yeah, the EAP, Early Access Pass, the passport itself were the very first mints on Atom, yes, but they were not NFT that people will proudly flex as their PFP. Like, look at my picture. That's a Hubbits, right? If you look at Raisin down here in the crowd, that's a Hubbits. He's got a goat. I have a tiger. These are very different. He has the arc flame. I have a little snow globe, you know. He's got, like, I don't remember what trait that is on his back, and I got a backpack on mine. So these are very different. So if you identify with this NFT, then you're going to want it. Nobody identifies with a passport. The passport's just a utility, and they all look the same. You'll be able to modify your passport to be a little bit more personalized by changing, say, the PFP on your passport. But other than that little bit of updating to the passport to make it a little bit more personalized, it's not going to be something you flex as a PFP. Hubbits is. That's why it's the flagship, the Genesis collection, because the rest of it is just utility, demonstration of our abilities.
Understood. If you're talking about trades and integration trades and create community through the trades, you need a bot, very good bot in Discord. What bot are you going to use in Discord? For example, Apella, Sentinel, or maybe another one?
So I've looked very briefly at Apello. I don't know what their abilities are. I tried reaching out to them, but I got really busy, so I need to try to reach out to them. Currently, we have the Gravidao, the Lunar HQ bot, and Elo from Gravidao has helped modify it slightly. But I'll give you guys a little bit of alpha. There's no guarantees on this, okay? But we're not seeing an interchain bot that can do all these things. I'm reading here, you guys have a bot? And if you have a bot, I didn't know about it. So if you have a bot, I'd be happy to talk to you about your bot.
When you go deeply in my collection and see how I work with trades, you should see a lot because I did a lot of work in it. One of the amazing bot is Sentinel, but it's not so good as I want. That is why we with my team create another bot which could do a lot. So
will your bot support more chains than just one?
We have very good guy, very smart guy who mix Apello and Sentinel because Sentinel very good bot, but not so good as I want. And if you see on my server, I have a lot of mama, mad scientists, etc. Because it's very important for me to see with who I speak. For example, if you click on the guy, you will see how many roles he has. And you will see he has Mammoth or he has Mad Scientist, Slot, Bad Kids, etc., etc. For me, it's very important to, bring right people on the server, because if we have very good, interesting, clever people, we can help each other. And if you don't have toxic people, it's also very good for growing and understand crypto. So for me, it's very important to find the right bot. And I understood one time, maybe 3 months ago, but it's impossible to use what bot on the market. And then I need to create bot exactly for my needs. That is why I created, and it's really good. We still develop it. And
talk to me offline about this.
Okay.
Let's get in a call and talk about your bot, because maybe we can use your bot. What I was going to say is that we've already been in talks on our team because we had a lot of problems getting a bot to work with Interchain because it's new. Interchain is new. We're thinking about building one of our own as just another utility. Sometimes when you're building a project, you realize you didn't think that you need something. And then when you see you need it, you're like, oh shit, we need something. And then you don't know what to do. So you build it, just like you. You said you needed something better, so you built it. Sometimes that's the best way. So if we can use your bot, maybe we don't need to build one. But if your bot won't do what we need, then we might have to build a bot. Now, I can't guarantee we will, but the more difficulty you have with something, with no solution in sight, the more likely you build it.
What questions I forgot to ask you?
What questions did you forget to ask me?
Yeah, maybe you need to tell us more about something what I didn't ask you.
Let's see. I will tell you, I think we covered all of it. I mean, we talked about our launch. We talked about, why is the Hubbits bullish? Why should we be bullish about the Hubbits? That's a good question, right? It's a Genesis collection, and it's the first major NFT event native to the Cosmos Hub. I know that there are other collections trading in Atom now. They really want to be the hub. For me, they're saying they're not loyal to where they were born. They just want to go wherever they see money, right? But we were asked to bring value to the hub. We wrote proposals to Atom where the validators had to vote, and they voted yes, give Ark Protocol permission to build on the hub so they can bring NFTs to the hub. Why should you be bullish on Hubbits? Because we're the only ones asked to do this, and we did it. And now we're launching it. We're also able to demonstrate doing it across 7 chains. Okay, that's it's not just a collection. Hubbits is not just a collection. Okay, it's like a landmark moment. It's going to draw liquidity, visibility, and community attention to Atom, and that's really the goal. And Atom doesn't have a shortage of attention right now, but I don't believe Atom would have had all this attention without all the crap that's been happening since we started these proposals on the hub. Whether you feel like it was positive or negative interaction, it doesn't matter when it comes to marketing if it was positive or negative, because it brought attention to the hub. And why did it bring attention? Because things are happening there. And we're right at the center of those things that are happening. So really, Hubbits isn't just another Genesis collection, because Atom is not just a Genesis chain. Atom is the chain that said, we don't want NFTs. Why? Why don't you want NFTs on Atom? Because we want to help support other chains building using the SDK, using the protocols on Atom in the Cosmos, and let them grow. Well, they've grown. And Atom now turned around and said, you know what? We want to bring value using NFTs to Atom. And it's working. Okay? Everyone in the Cosmos is talking more about Atom than ever before, ever in the history. That's bullish. I'm more bullish on Atom than I ever was in the past. And if you look at the Atom unlock schedule, it's hard to be bullish on Atom because they are going to unlock so many tokens only to stakers. That means if you hold Atom and you don't stake it, you're losing value. That's what that means. And now that we're bringing NFTs, now that Stargaze wants to bring their market, now everybody's talking about Atom, we're not going to have that loss in value because of all this attention. Is going to bring liquidity, okay? It's going to bring visibility. It's going to grow the community. This attention is big. That's how I see it. So that would be the question. Why be bullish on this? How could you not be?
How are you going to destroy the bots? Because on Stargaze, sometimes we can't mint.
All of our phases are mostly gated. You won't be able to use the same NFT to mint more than once. So if you have an NFT that gives you access to mint and you use it, unless you have more NFTs to give you access to mint, you can't mint until public. And then if we get to public and somebody wants to mint a lot and they're using bots at public, we will have already given so much access to big collections and collections we're collaborating with in the cosmos, including you guys, including all the projects that we work with. We're going to give everyone access. So we're going to give access to more than the 9,000, the 10,000 collection. We're going to give access to more people than that, right? So everyone's going to actually have an easy chance to get into Mint. So if they don't want to get into Mint, I don't know if we're going to attempt to stop bots in public or not, but they're not going to be able to bot the other phases of Mint. They have to hold NFTs to get in. What are they going to do? Go buy mad scientists? They're going to buy all your NFTs? Okay, good. Then it's not really, then to bot it's going to cost them a lot of effort and money. They're working for that. You see what I mean? It's not, I don't think that we're going to get botted like some collections where nobody can mint because the bots got it all. There's not going to be the ability for the bots to do that. We're not going to give them the access.
Your top 5 favorite projects in Cosmos and top 3 or 5 projects in Cosmos what you really don't like.
Oh gosh, that's so we're very close with from our Terra Luna days. We're very close with a lot of the projects from the olden times. I mean, I still have all my skeleton punks that I minted. I still have galactic punks. Okay, so I still have some of my Luna communities that moved that I just hold near and dear to my heart. Whether they're good projects or not anymore doesn't really matter to me. You know, because I've worked with a lot of these guys before we wound up moving to other chains like the Cosmos. Now, I love the sloths. I know they've done so well. Mad scientists, we've worked with them so much because those are all Terra Luna guys, right? So definitely like those. Pixel Wizards brought some tech that I found very intriguing. Pixel Wizards is one of those collections that I don't think anyone really noticed some of the cool stuff that they brought, to the eco and as far as how you can interact with his NFTs. You know, the Rect Gang, big fan of the Rect Gang because really, I mean, they survived. They survived better than almost anybody. You know, I love you guys. I love Expedition. I do like the value that Backbone Labs has brought. With their market, with their growth. They've done very well. It's hard not to respect them. DAO with their amazing platform wound up being the go-to because Terra died, Enterprise died. So, these are some of the projects that I've really like. Cult of Anons is another project that I have a lot of respect for. Projects that I like less, because I don't want to say I don't like them. I would say I don't understand them as much, or I don't see why they're so popular. Like Bad Kids, to me, the art is just, that's not art to me. I don't see that as art. Maybe people with a more artistic eyes can see art when they look at that, but I just see kids' drawings, right? And they don't have a utility. So what makes them big is just that they're strong a community and give benefits to holders, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand why they're so big. Aside from them, I mean, there's no collections that stand out and tell me like it, don't like it. Like, how do you say you don't like a collection? You know what I mean? Like, I don't like rugs, but you don't find them very often, right? But yeah, I would say that's the one that I've always questioned. Why are they so big? What did they offer? They just got adopted by the chain. I feel like that's what got them big. I don't know.
I have the same question when I speak with fan of Bad Kids. They always say it's OG and say, okay, this is OG collection. Thank you very much. What else? And they just can't say anything.
Money chases money. If I put pictures of me driving Lamborghinis, even if it wasn't true, if I put pictures of my feet in front of the beach with palm trees in a beautiful place, people will believe I have money. And money follows money, so people will like me. Bad Kids has a reputation. They have an image. If they say they're OG and then they have volume like this, then people will believe it. And when people believe it, sometimes that's strong enough, right, for their community to stay strong. Sometimes that's enough. Also, active founders. You know what I mean? If the founders are very, very active, and a lot of times, our team is a little bit older guys, right? We're not all young, okay? Mr. T, he's a developer, so, he's not a young kid, right? I'm not a young kid. So we don't always connect so closely with a lot of the degens in the communities. Bad Kids, I think, connects very well They resonate very well with degens. Crappy art, strong community. They feel like they love it. You know, a lot of the stigma behind such a successful thing is like, look, we can do it even if the art sucks. You know, like so it is what it is. Like, what makes them so strong? I'm gonna just say the community. But there's so many great projects. It's so much nicer to focus on the good ones. Focus on what have they brought, what communities are doing well, and what communities are still here, even if the numbers on a piece of paper don't look good, but the community is still strong. Those are the ones that really bring you a sense of community and a sense of camaraderie and make you feel like you're part of something. Making money is fun, but community is better.
What do you think about Omies and Mammoth?
Omie's, the whole chain over there was that Mantra chain, right?
Yeah.
Mantra has a lot of controversy. So I haven't looked since the controversy. I haven't looked at them, but whenever there's a new chain and they have such big problems, I feel like they don't have a good future. So, the collection that represents them is kind of stuck being a representative of a negative view. So if they do well, good luck and good for them. But if a chain has made them look bad, it's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to look bad.
What about Mama?
So is that Celestia?
Yeah, it's Celestia. They launched it on the Forma, and it's really close to Celestia team.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them, honestly. I know Celestia chain is a little bit volatile. Some days people are bullish, some days less. But I think Celestia is going to stay. They've been here for a while. I was trading their token before everything was crashing, and I really liked trading their token. So I hope they do well, but I don't know enough.
Okay, Scoty, I really like what you give me full answer. I really appreciate it. But, I asked you not about communities, NFTs. I'm asking you about your favorite project, like Injective, maybe, I don't know, up to you. If you see the whole Cosmos ecosystem, what is your favorite project and what project you don't like?
I mean, I'm a big fan of what the Galactic Syndicate and Galactic Mining have done. I love the value that they've brought. I love what they've done with StreamSwap. Sisla built that platform on what was the name of that chain?
I know the chain. Forget about it. Continue.
I love that tool is Omniflix. Thank you, Raisin.
Yeah, Omniflix.
I love the tools that they're bringing. I do love these projects that do these things. They don't necessarily have to have an NFT base to have a successful protocol. So I do love seeing the tech. Projects that I love the most. God, that's a tough one. I don't know if I have one that I love more than all the others. They have different reasons why I like certain ones. I don't know that I have one that I love the most.
Okay, tell me what you don't like.
I don't like pumps and dumps. Any project that is pumped very heavily by KOLs, by chains, and then walked away from very shortly after mint, any projects like that, I don't like. And there's a lot of them. I don't like seeing, because I know what happened. A bunch of people put in small amounts of money so that somebody with a lot of money takes it all. And I hate seeing that. We work hard for our money. I don't like to see projects do that to people. The good projects that are at the top don't do that. I hope that's a good enough answer for you, because I don't know the projects. I shouldn't say I don't know the projects. I'm not strong in any projects. I still hold NFTs in a lot of Cosmos projects. I still have my Stone Highlands. I still got my Doghouse NFTs, Space Skellies. I still got my Bull Clubs, which was Luna Bulls once upon a time, and Hellcats. Still got my Skeleton Punks and my Galactic Punks. So, I still have all these NFTs from all these years that I've been here. But I never really pick favorites because I've been so busy building my own projects.
If you're talking not about Cosmos, what is your favorite project? Like Solana, do you use it? Do you like it?
Yeah, with Solana, I kind of stopped doing NFTs on Solana because the meme coins are bigger. So I actually have meme coins now instead of NFTs. Solana projects that I did hold, almost all of them went to zero. Solana is mostly insiders and big DAOs. If you buy expensive NFTs to get into big DAOs, you can create connections to people that will help you profit. I think that's the strongest thing on Solana right now is boutique collections. Whether you like the art or not doesn't even matter because you're getting into the in crowd. Raisin saying Mad Lads. Mad Lads was chosen in Amsterdam by Solana. They handpicked Mad Lads and said, since what's his name left with his D-Gods, when Frank left with D-Gods, Solana just picked Mad Lads and said, you guys are our guys now. They picked them in Amsterdam. So it's not like the team there made them the flagship. It's the team built their project, and then Solana said, okay, we like you. We're going to make you ours now. And Solana decided to run Mad Lads as their flagship, so to speak. Now, if Mad Lads falls out of their graces or moves or something, Solana will just pick another one, and they will pump that one. You can get 10 different Twitter accounts that shill one thing, and then the whole ecosystem will buy it. That's Solana. It's very cutthroat. So Solana, I have meme coins, a lot of layer 2 meme coins on Solana, and then they fly. You know, you got meme coins like Mew and Whiff, Popcat. You've got Jupe. You've got all these L2 tokens. That's where all the money is in Solana, and that's all Solana is to me. It's just a place to make money. Unless you want to get involved in DAO communities, I don't see any benefits in any NFTs that I hold at this point in Solana. I know it sounds negative, and I'm sorry if it sounds negative, but it was a very long run on Solana. I did a project on Solana, and I found out very quickly that the money moves from project to project fast, and they also move from chain to chain fast. So a lot of Solana groups will go to another chain and then come back. That's what Aptos, Blur, there were so many of them where they just, like you said, the NFTs didn't do so good. Well, they go over there, pump, dump, and come back on Solana a lot. And you either want to do that or you don't.
I traded a lot on Solana in 21, 22 with NFT, and I saw how Solana NFT cash grabbers came to Injective and went away after maybe 2 or 3 months. They just saw that Injective not pump it. NFT not pump it, NFT segment. And they just went away, go back to do different shit in Solana meta.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Solana is also dangerous. Like, I launched a project on Solana. I had a written contract with the launchpad. Okay. Then they knew our supply. They knew our price, right? Then after we minted, they actually had all the money go to their own wallets, which they're not supposed to do. They're supposed to give it to the founders, and then per the contract, we pay them the monies that they're supposed to get. But instead, they routed the money to their own wallet, and then they demanded that we pay like $7,000 or $8,000 extra, or they weren't going to make our collection live. Here's an example of one of the experiences I had. Then we went to another person who we knew who had a launch pad, and he said, yeah, I've actually heard them doing that before. Let me help you guys. And we paid him what we were going to pay the other company. We gave him the same amount that they were going to get, their cut, and he got us on chain. So that, you know, in Solana, I had a lot of experiences like that where people promised things and then didn't deliver. I had one guy pay me now, and I promised to double your server in the next 2 weeks. We had 6 less people after 2 weeks. You know, like, this is my experience on Solana. It was a very difficult place to try to do honest business. And that's the only way we work, is honest business. We make a deal, we fulfill it. If we work with you and we do a collaboration or a partnership, we want it to be a strong one. We don't want to have you guys feel bad or us feel bad. But on Solana, it was different. It didn't matter what you agreed to. Later, they want to change it. So that was my experience.
Who is the captain of this collection, Habits? For who we should follow? Please send your Twitter link in the chat. I also added in my YouTube video. We need to track the captains of this Genesis PFP collection on Hub.
I would say Mr. T is probably the best one to follow for this collection. Aside from, of course, from Ark, you guys can definitely follow, you know, my Twitter if you want. I do post some.
We need your Twitter. Please send it also.
Yeah, I'm going to send it right now. I do post some, but I'm not the most active Twitter person. It's something that I'm on again, off again. Sometimes I post a lot. Sometimes I don't post for a little while. But Mr. T and the Ark are probably the best ones to follow. And of course, in the servers where we put the most information is in the server. On Discord, we post the most information, but the Twitter would be Ark Twitter and Mr. T's Twitter are the best for that. But you can follow mine because I do retweet a lot of it. You might see it more if you have a couple accounts that are retweeting it, just so you can keep up with it.
So, Scoty, thank you very much. I think it's enough for today. I really like it to talk with you.
All right, spasibo.
I would like to be honest, you're a really good guy. I like to speak with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You too. It's been a very nice experience here. I'm always happy to chat, always happy to answer questions. And even the tough questions, you delivered them with a lot of respect. And I really like that. We can have an open dialogue that's respectful, and that matters. That's community.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too, guys. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.